Hello everyone, Chepandish Cheputelsu Letu Kadu. Sorry for being 4 minutes late. I was about to come when number two came. So yeah, because of that number two thing, nature when nature calls, you have to go. So yeah, Hindu analysis 1st October 2025. Good morning, Gajanan. Good morning, Pratik. Good morning, Anandu. So let's start with today's discussion. Che Pandey. Hope I'm audible, visible, and everything. My name is Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, guys. Yesterday, I gave you people two questions. This is related to Sahyog portal. We have talked about the tussle which was going on between Indian government Sahyog portal and ex Karnataka High Court gave a judgment yesterday. Like we have talked about it yesterday, and how they sided with Indian government and Sahyog portal. What is this issue all about? Good morning, Harshini. Good morning, Mamta. So, what is the answer of this particular question? What potential concerns regarding Sahyog portal? And here again, what you can do is you can use option elimination, guys. That will help you. Option elimination means if you know some statement is wrong or it has no relevance to the content which we just means discussed yesterday, you just eliminate that particular option, right? So what is that particular option? Harshini has given the answer. Violation of US Take It Down Act. What is the relevance of US Take It Down Act with India's Sahyog portal, right? So potential concern has nothing to do with US Take It Down Act. Eliminate 4, you will get the answer, that is A, 1, 2 and 3, as stated by Harshini, Pratik and Anand. You can watch yesterday's Hindu analysis if you haven't for this particular thing. Mutual legal assistance treaty, we have talked about it when we were talking about Zubin Garg. Am I hearing my voice? You haven't. Okay. So yeah, what is the answer of M, like this particular question related to MLAG? Again, use option elimination. If you, what is the basic rationale of MLAG? It will facilitate exchange of information. So that is correct. Is one is there in every option. Allows one country to directly prosecute an accused. Can you prosecute that? Can you do that? Very few countries in the world allow that. So we never talked about all these things, that yes, direct prosecution will be allowed. So second is wrong. Eliminate second. You're left with A and C. It can be invoked to seek cooperation. Can, whenever the option contains can, the probability is very high that the option is correct. When the option contains only, the probability is very low that the option is correct. So the answer is, as Pratik stated, Harshini stated, C, 1 and 3 only. Very good here. You can have a look at yes means tomorrow's, yesterday's Hindu analysis for all these topics. Cool, sir. So let's come back to the present and let's talk about today's article. Page number 8, editorial. 100 years of UPSC has been completed. Created in 19, like what is today, man? So 1926, and this year is 2025. So UPSC. Now, what are the things which are important from exam like purpose? Articles 315 to 323. Which particular part UPSC deals with? Part 14. It's very rare that UPSC will ask questions about themselves. It's like Karthik calling Karthik, but yes, you never know. And this editorial is good because it is talking about, or it has been written by rather chairman of UPSC, Ajay Kumar Shah. So he's talking about how UPSC is so transparent, how it awards meritocracy, this and that. And this is to a certain extent very true. Although after that whole incident of, there was an there was a ma'am and she did certain stuff, she forged documents and all, but all in all it's very transparent. None of the state PSCs are as transparent as UPSC is, that you cannot discount. People have somewhat lost faith in many state PSCs, they haven't lost faith yet in UPSC. So this is one credibility associated with UPSC. Cool. Now this is important, this particular para. There are so many things which are important from means perspective, where you will talk about the different things, what UPSC does, etc., how their chairman is appointed for 6 years or 65, whichever comes earlier, blah blah blah. But this point is important. They originated and the idea was talked about in 1919 Act, Government of India Act 1919. Whenever you read history, guys, read these three acts parallelly: 1909, 1990, 1935. Anyway, 1935 Act, UPSC chairman is going live on DD YouTube channel today to answer questions from aspirants. Oh my god, this is actually a very good thing. So ask them about that girl, how she was able to forge documents. So 1935, almost 50% of Indian constitution, is derived from 1935 Act, because we were well acquainted with it. So 1919 Act is also very important. The bicameralism, the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, which we are seeing right now, it has its genesis in 1919 Act. And then this bicameralism was extended in provinces. So legislative assembly councils, which you are seeing, it had its genesis in 1935 Act. Cool. So Lee Commission 1924, they recommended this Public Service Commission. Idea was talked about in 1919, but Lee Commission recommended it. It was established in 2026 under, and it was led by Sir Ross Barker. So do remember these commissions. These commissions are actually important. So yes, sir, it became for Federal Public Service Commission. You can see here the Government of India Act 1935, blah blah blah, and initially conducted few exams. Now they are conducting Group A, Group B exam, and so many other exams. Cool. So they reflect Bhagavad Gita message of duty without attachment, equal opportunity for all, and then the chairman sir is talking about how candidates from every district is selected. Whether it is actually every district or not, that you can debate, but yes, rural, urban, there is no distinction as such, discrimination. But you can always argue that, there can be some amount of discrimination here and there based on how much you can access knowledge, blah blah blah. Although in the case of, in this online revolution, everybody has somewhat equal access to knowledge. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so you can have a look at all these things, what they have done, special provision for differentially able candidates, blah blah blah. I'm not reading all these things, you people know these things. The things which are important from exam perspective is, like, we'll go there. Recent reforms, Pratibha Setu, this is important. So what is Pratibha Setu? People who have went up until, interview stage, for them, they have this Pratibha Setu initiative. Let me show you something and then we will come back. Mm, so this thing here is UPSC Pratibha Setu. Hope you can see this thing. So Pratibha stands for professional resource and talent integration, bridge for hiring aspirants. So do remember this thing. And it's not like this UPSC Pratibha Setu is something very unique or very, it was not there. It was there. The name was different. PDS it was named as Public Disclosure Scheme. Now it is Pratibha, Professional Resource and Talent Integration, bridge for hiring aspirants. So do remember the full form. Like, if I ask you guys, what is the full form for Niti Ayog? How many of you know the full form for Niti Ayog? Chepandi, చెప్పదలు లేదు కాదు guys. In so many exams, they ask you these full forms. So Niti Ayog, what is the full form of Niti? Tell me fast. Tell me something. So again, Pratibha Setu, people. And what is your view on this point? So here it is about people who will reach till interview stage. They will be provided or given options. If you want to, be employed in some alternative opportunities, go for it. But there are many people who say that why only interview? Even people who are writing mains, let's say they are around 10,000. It's not very difficult to give job to these 10,000 people. And UPSC chairman himself is talking about 10 to 12 lakh people apply for prelims. Out of those 10 to 12 lakh, if 10,000 people are writing mains, and don't give them group A, group B job, even, a little bit smaller job, which is paying 30,000, 40,000. Hope you're understanding. What is your view on that, guys? Like, do you think Pratibha Setu should be extended for those people also who are writing mains? In this day and age, when the competition is so cutthroat, I personally feel even clearing pre is not a very easy task, man. And the way UPSC is framing questions. So again, I personally feel it should be extended to people who are even writing mains. 10,000 is not that big a number, and they can employ them somewhere or the other. At least give them the option, man. So what is your view on that? So Harshini, Hannah, Mamta, all of you have given the answer. National Institution for Transforming India. Should be extended for mains or not? Who have written mains, or you think interview is fine? And again, acknowledge challenge from global competition. They are saying that they will continuously adapt. Very good. Things important. Article 315 to 323. Which part of Indian Constitution? Part 14. Article 316 talks about appointment of chairperson and all, 6 years or until 65. Pratibha Setu, professional resource and talent integration bridge for hiring aspirants. Cool, sir. Let's solve some questions. So recommendation of which commission led to the establishment of Public Service Commission in 1926? Lee Commission, Simon Commission, Sarkaria Commission, National Commission to review the working of the Constitution. This National Commission to review the working of the Constitution is also known as Venkatacharya Commission, guys. Venkatacharya Commission. And generally what happens, this is also known as NCRWC. So this is the cheat code which you people can use. I think I may have told you this. What is the cheat code? Generally what happens when you read about medieval period, let's say you read about Delhi Sultanate, you talk about Barni. Barni said this, Barni said that. Barni is an author. Similarly, when you talk about polity, you talk about different aspects of polity in governance, you can always say that according to NCRWC this and that, because NCRWC is reviewing constitution. So they have given recommendation on almost anything and everything. This is just a cheat code. Don't kill me for it. What I'm trying to tell you is NCRWC, since it is reviewing constitution, it has given recommendation on anything and everything written in the constitution. So even when you talk about UPSC, etc., you know some recommendation, but you don't remember which commission has talked about it. Just write NCRWC. More or less you are safe, because it's very difficult for the examiner to cross-examine whether NCRWC has actually said it, or Punchi Commission said it, or some other commission said it, Sarkaria Commission said it. So because NCRWC talks about so many things. So hope you understood what I told you guys. So here the answer is Lee Commission, as stated by Harshini, Anandu, Gajanan, Mamta, Hannah, Rishi, Pratik and Annie. Very good, yeah. Guys and girls, I asked you people two things. Should the guys who are writing mains, they should be also included under Pratibha Setu? And the second question is, did you people understand what is the cheat code here? How you can use NCRWC? Yes or no? UPSC submits its annual report too. I did not tell you this, but guess it. Then we'll discuss it. They submit their annual report to Prime Minister, President, Parliament directly, Election Commission of India. Very good. So Harshini has given the answer, Anandu has given the answer, Hannah has given the answer, Mamta has given the answer. Okay, so Hannah has said yes, sir. Okay, so UPSC submit their annual report to President, UPSC submit report to President, and President in turn sends it to Parliament. So this is the hierarchy, guys. Means, or chronological order, UPSC sends it to President, President then sends it to Parliament. Cool. So as all of you have stated, like Harshini, Anandu, Mamta, Hannah and Rishi, fairly good. Let's move on. MCQ 3. Consider the following statement regarding UPSC. Read all options. Oh my god, my hair is like, first established 26 civil examination allow candidates to write answer in regional languages. And then you have Pratibha Setu provides employment support to candidates who do not clear prelims. So Harshini and Annie has given the answer, Anandu has given the answer. Provides employment support to candidates who do not clear prelims, or who clear even interview, and who are, not clearing interview. That is the whole thing. So they are reaching till interview stage who do not clear prelims. So the third option you will eliminate, and you are getting the answer, that is A, as stated by Harshini, Annie, Anandu, Mamta and Hannah. Very good here. Next article. Oh my god, I will tell you people, I hate these articles. These articles are the toughest articles. I don't know how many of the people who take Hindu analysis, they take these articles, but sometimes I feel like I'm cheating to myself if I'm not including these articles. If I keep on including, NHRC, this and that, anybody can teach that, man. But teaching these things is so tough. Polar engineering could cause severe harm. So what is this geoengineering thing? So there is a term here, polar geoengineering. Geoengineering means you are, or we are taking efforts to reverse climate change. We are taking efforts to reverse climate change. We are taking efforts to reverse global warming. That's what we are trying to do. And there are different methods. When you're doing these things in polar region, that is known as polar geoengineering. Now, this particular article is talking about how you are trying to do reverse climate change, reverse global warming, but in turn, you are harming the ecosystem. So in this particular science and tech article, there are so many terms that we can take almost 1 hour discussion on this whole article if I want to, but we won't do that. So there are terms: phytoplankton, zooplankton, stratospheric aerosol injection. PYQ has been asked on it. We'll talk about it. So geoengineering, we have just discussed. What is geoengineering? When we are taking steps to reverse, means climate change, reverse global warming. Cool. 5 major geoengineering techniques are there, and according to the author of this article, awesome article, he's saying that they are, they are failing key criteria. How? We will understand. Stratospheric aerosol injection is the first proposal. How does this work? What is aerosol? So aerosol is suspended solid or liquid particles in gaseous media. Just remember the definition. This is aerosol. So SO2, CO, CO3, calcium carbonate. So these are solid or gas, means it can be solid particles, it can be liquid particles suspended in a gaseous medium. Just remember the basic definition. What happens when you inject these aerosols in upper atmosphere? They will reflect sunlight, and there are two concepts. Either you absorb sunlight or you reflect sunlight. So there's a concept of albedo, which is about reflectivity, how much you are reflecting sunlight. More you are reflecting sunlight, more albedo you have. So ice has a very high albedo, and we are talking about polar geoengineering, very high albedo, very high reflectivity. So they are saying that this stratospheric aerosol injection, where you are injecting aerosol in upper atmosphere to reflect sunlight, because the more sunlight is absorbed, the more temperature will increase. The more you're reflecting, the temperature will be constant or it will decrease. They're saying that it is ineffective during polar winters, guys, because in polar winter there is no sunlight in those polar regions, and it is not necessary in summer, guys, because ice already have a very high albedo. So what are you trying to do? Risk of termination shock. Again, pay attention to the keywords here, guys. There are so many keywords, so many technical terms associated here. What is termination shock? So let's say you did it in summer in this polar region school. So some amount of sunlight was reflected, and it in a way helped ice. It complemented ice. But let's say you did not have enough money because you need $55 million per year per country. The cost is very high. So let's say after a certain period, you feel like we have to stop this project. There will be a sudden increase in temperature. This is termination shock, abrupt warming. So you were doing stuff, the temperature was decreasing, but suddenly you put a halt to it, the temperature will abruptly increase. This is termination shock. It should run continuously, no global governance. But do you have that much money? $55 million per year per country in 30 nations means share. And then you have the case of termination shock. And then in icy region, anyway, ice is doing that albedo thing. They have high reflectivity. So aerosol injection does not make sense. Plus, it is very costly. So this is one thing they are talking about. Second is sea curtain, sea walls. What is sea curtain, sea walls? Let me show you something. So this is an example of a sea wall. Now, this is a sea wall where you're seeing it is above ground. Basically, one purpose of sea wall is to separate warm water from cold water. So if you people read geography, if you people read geomorphology, if oceanography rather, oceanography, fast and there you have the concept of ocean currents, fast and directed movement of ocean water under the influence of various factors like temperature difference, pressure difference, salinity difference, blah blah blah. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on ocean currents, direct PYQ, you can solve that. So there is warm ocean water which leads to warm ocean currents, cold ocean water, cold ocean currents. Let's say warm ocean currents and cold ocean currents, they mix. So then obviously the temperature of cold ocean currents will rise, or the region, and they are generally the cold ocean currents you have near the polar regions, the temperature will rise. So we want to prevent this mixing, and we want to build these sea walls below the sea surface. That is the sea walling concept. Sea curtains or sea walls, underwater barriers to block warm water from reaching ice sheet. So this is the concept of sea wall. But then how much money you can understand? This again will require $1 billion per kilometer, greater than that. Technical difficulties. You're talking about going inside the water, going inside oceans. Risk disrupting marine life. You have phytoplankton, you have zooplankton. How much impact these species will suffer? Phytoplankton, zooplankton. People, do you have any ideas? What is the basic difference between them? If you know it, you can post it in the comment section. What is the basic difference between phytoplankton and zooplankton? Then toxicity, how much it will pollute the water, and whether the material will sustain for a longer period of time or not. Sea ice movement, glass microbits. So we have discussed already that ice has a higher amount of albedo. If you scatter glass microbits to means ice, it will increase the albedo furthermore. So again, this is one method, glass microbits. I will tell you, you will understand which are the methods which are important. So again, what can happen? This is glass, guys. This can be toxic. Again, it also requires, so one common theme which you are seeing in all these polar geoengineering is they require a lot of money. And whether this glass microbit will pollute the marine ecosystem, will pollute zooplankton, etc. So that is another concern altogether. Phytoplanktons are autotrophic organisms in ocean. So they are generally plant-like. They do photosynthesis. And when they do photosynthesis, I don't know how many of you know, but I think many of you know, in photosynthesis plants absorb CO2. So phytoplankton also absorbs CO2. So we will see one of the methods, one of the geoengineering method, which talks about increasing phytoplankton. If you increase phytoplankton, they will take and they will make more, food via photosynthesis. They will absorb more CO2 because you need CO2 when you're doing photosynthesis. Please understand, guys, many people don't remember this thing. Plants, when they do respiration, when they are breathing, they are taking oxygen, releasing CO2. That time they're not absorbing CO2. But when plants are making food, photosynthesis, they are absorbing CO2. So these are some important things. So we will talk about that method also, how we have to increase phytoplanktons. And zooplanktons are animals which feeds on phytoplanktons or other zooplanktons. So do remember these terms. Phytoplanktons are actually the base of the marine ecosystem, ocean ecosystem. They in a way sustain other ecosystem. Okay, sir. So do remember these words, they are important. So where were we? Basal water removal, fourth geoengineering technology. Again, pay attention to the keyword. What is basal water? The water at the bottom of glacier. So you have glaciers, and at the bottom of glacier, if you remove water, what will happen? The level of water will decrease, and that would sea level rise will decrease. And again, we are concerned. Why we are concerned about global warming, climate change? Because sea level are rising, it will submerge many islands. But if you remove water from bottom of the glaciers, sea level will decrease. So this is one method. But again, you need a lot of money, lot of maintenance and monitoring to go that deep into glaciers. So that is one issue. Then this ocean fertilization, which we have just discussed. Phytoplanktons, they absorb CO2 during photosynthesis. Increase phytoplanktons, decrease CO2. So you, and how you can do it? By giving them iron, by giving iron to ocean. But then the point is how much phytoplankton will increase. Maybe they will increase so much that they will create a disruption. So you should know when to stop, and again it will require a lot of money. So if you want to increase phytoplankton to a certain level to decrease CO2, because they will absorb, you need a lot of money, you need a lot of iron. Easier said than done. So these are 5 methods, and they all have their issues. So again, this is a question which you have to prepare from both pre as well as mains perspective. Hope you're understanding where we are going with this. Cool. So what are the alternatives? Focus on reducing carbon emission, guys, rather than focusing on these things which are so costly, and there are apprehensions over there how they will work. Focus on climate resilient development, how humans interact with planet. Decarbonization, decrease fossil fuel, but easier said than done. Decarbonization, what is the challenge? There can be multiple mains question which can be framed from this article. The main challenge is fossil fuels still provide 80% of global energy. The main challenge is global south. We have talked about global south yesterday when we were talking about SSTC. So global south, developing nations prioritize growth over emission cuts. Obviously, north is already developed, Europe is already developed. We have to develop, so we have to use fossil fuel. Plus, renewable energy is costly. Political resistance also happens from lobbies, fossil fuel lobbies. Maybe Donald Trump is a part of it, and that's why he keeps on talking about how this whole global warming is a facade. Plus you need critical minerals if you want to focus on electric vehicles, blah blah blah, and you don't have that much critical minerals. There is a supply chain constraint. Very few countries in the world are calling shots over critical minerals. Protected area criticism. So there is another way. You displace local communities, protect a particular, again, you can understand here, decarbonization, protected areas, protect certain regions which are vulnerable, Amazon rainforest. But then militarize enforcement. If you're displacing local communities, it will create hostility. So there are different things which we have to keep in account when we are talking about these things. Decarbonization is easier said than done. India say it explicitly, but you do know what we do implicitly. So despite the appeal of geoengineering, current methods are risky, ecologically damaging. Decarbonization is the best way, but easier said than done. Every ton of emission reduced today. Again, you can have a look at this. I have told you everything which you need to know. It's a very interesting article. Now let's see this mains question. Geoengineering proposals in poorer regions are impractical, ecologically risky, and economically unviable. So this is a question in front of you. Now, if you have to elucidate this answer or question rather. So what will you write in this question? What will be your point of view? Geoengineering proposals, impractical, ecologically risky, economically unviable. So you can talk about, like, we have talked about 5 geoengineering proposals, right? So first of all, any answer has to be have intro, body, and conclusion. You need to have intro, you need to have body, you need to have conclusion. So in intro, you will define what is geoengineering. We have discussed what is geoengineering. In body, you will talk about, if you want, you can divide this answer into 3 parts: impractical, ecologically risky, and you have to see the more questions you solve, the more you understand. Ecologically risky and economically unviable. So in practical part, you can talk about how, when we're talking about snow, like sea wall and all, how it is impractical, because beneath the ocean, it becomes very difficult to make these sea walls. So yeah, impractical fact. So again, ecologically risky. We were talking about increasing phytoplanktons. If we increase phytoplanktons beyond a certain limit, what impact it will have on the marine ecosystem? Economically unviable. Almost all of these five geoengineering proposals, they were talking about how expensive they are. So that is the third part which you have to focus on. Impractical, ecologically risky, and economically unviable. If you want, don't show your weaknesses to the examiner, guys. You can just make one heading: impractical, ecologically risky, and economically unviable. And there also you can write all these points. So that's how you can approach. If you have anything to add, if you want to add anything, feel free to do it in the comment section. So again, geoengineering proposals in polar regions, you will talk about the intro part, define engineering, and in the body part, you can talk about sea walls and revise these five geoengineering, make a note of it somewhere, very important. Sea ice management, basal water, ocean fertilization, common challenges. Conclusion is we have to focus on emission reduction. These things are easier said than done. Cool. Let's solve MCQ4 based on the previous article. I'm I'm so proud of you guys. You know why I am proud of you guys? Because see, this is Navratri. Generally, what happens, what we have witnessed in our tech sector, in these festive seasons, the students, they are like celebrating festival and this and that. When I was in Assam, I was teaching there, so they were like, today is Saraswati Puja, we are going there. In India, guys, every day is a festival. If you go to different parts of the region, na, every day is a festival. But you people are not preparing for any Group C or Group D exam. With due respect to all the exams, you are preparing for one of the toughest exam in the world. Every festival, this is Navratri, I know, but something has to give. You have to sacrifice, guys. If you're not sacrificing, oh, this is Ashtami, this is Naomi, I don't care. For me, this channel is a mission of mine. For 1 year, I'm not doing anything. I'm focusing on this. I don't need to. I can take break if I want to. It's not like if I take 1 or 2 day break, hell will let loose, but I can't. And for me, I see, it's not as dire for me as it is dire for you guys. Your time matters, and it's make or break time. So I'm very proud of you guys and the people who will be watching it later, that you are focusing, because festivals will keep on coming, and this happens almost every day in India. Every day is a festival, some way or the other, but you have to sacrifice. This is the time to do it. So proud of you people. Good work. So yeah, Harshini, Anandu, Mamta, Anusuya, Pratik, and Hannah, all of you given the answer. Professional resource and talent integration bridge for hiring aspirants. Sacrifice, guys. Right now you have to sacrifice. Later on you will take dividends out of it. PYQ 5. UPSC 2019. In the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the use of cirrus cloud thinning technique and injection of sulfate aerosol into the stratosphere? Thank you, Pratik. Again, choose the best option. Read all option. So Harshini has given the answer. Hannah has given the answer. So the answer is the main purpose. I will tell you, when this question appeared in 2019, people were like, cloud, so artificial rains. So many people answered A. What we have just discussed, this injection of sulfate aerosol. See the second part. This is one of the five types of geoengineering, right? And what is the basic purpose of geoengineering? To reverse climate change, to undo global warming, so reduce global warming. D is the answer. As stated by Harshini, Hannah, Pratik, Gajanan, Anandu, Mamta, and Annie. MCQ 6. Which of the following statements about SAI is or are correct? Good question, this is. what you will do when you encounter these kind of tricky questions, this is actually a tricky question, you know. So what you will do, you will do option elimination. Option elimination will help you more often than not. What is happening in this question? You have an idea about aerosol injection. You know why it is done, but there are so many statements, and UPSC started giving these kind of 4 statement questions now. So you have to eliminate things. We know it is not effective throughout the year in polar region, because in, you know, winter there is no sunlight. So how will you work, guys? Your work is to reflect sunlight, but there is no sunlight at all. So second is wrong. If second is wrong, you will eliminate A and C. You're left with B and D. So fourth option you have to just check. It addresses the root cause. The root cause is not this. The root cause is, you know, stop doing, means cutting forest. Stop, you know, emitting so much carbon. That is the root cause. This is, we are trying to undo something which has already happened. So this is not addressing the root cause. You know, it is just trying to do something. So you will eliminate fourth, and the answer is B, as stated by Harshini, Hannah, Anandu. So cloud thinning also increases reflectivity. Yeah. So cloud thinning also increases reflectivity, but that's a bit technical. We'll talk about it some other time, Harshini. So yeah, I can understand why Pratik and Gajanan has gone for D, but hope you're understanding. It is not addressing the root cause, guys. You know, it is just trying to undo something which has already happened. If you want to address the root cause is reduce carbon emission. Reduce carbon emission. Decarbonization, which we were discussing, that was the root cause, guys. Decarbonization will not happen via this. Decarbonization will happen when you're using lesser coal. Cool. So again, like, share, and subscribe, guys. And let's move on to the next article. Transformation of girls' education. I feel like I have seen this ma'am somewhere. I don't know where. Shamika Ravi ma'am. So she's a member of Economic Advisory Council to Prime Minister, and she has written on this particular article on girls' education. So here again, there are certain terms which are important. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Andolan, and there was a joke earlier. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao from whom? That means educate your girl and save your girl. Okay, so it was launched in 2015. Do remember, the important part here is this is a multi-ministerial initiative. This is not an initiative of a single means, you know, ministry, guys. So that is important. And then there are different terms here. So let's have a look at what Shamika Ravi ma'am is talking about in this article. She's talking about our Honorable PM Modi sir, whom we all love and who is in our heart. Good. Again, here she's talking about how transformation happened and started from Gujarat. Gujubais. So lesson from Gaikwad era. This is actually interesting. History and polity are merging here. History and governance are merging here. So what used to happen in the means Gaikwad dynasty during this period, if the daughters were, and this you can use as a case study also. This you can use even in your essays also, essay answer. You can talk about this. Gaikwad dynasty, fathers were penalized for not educating daughters. So again, this is a good thing. Remind, like, penalized does not mean sent to 14 years of jail, but yes, why are you not educating daughter? So these kind of things work actually. So Modi sir, and he realized that the older women were more educated 10-20 years back than the younger women. So there was an issue which was percolating among the younger strata, where they were not teaching their daughters, or, you know, there were reason. And that's why our Honorable Modi sir, who else, launched Kanya Kelavani campaign. So again, this is a tricky part. Like, you know, sometimes what happens, they will ask you different schemes which are very famous, like Raitu Bandhu scheme. They can ask you Raitu Bandhu scheme is belonging to which particular state. If you know it, you can post it in the comment section. Raitu Bandhu, part of which particular state. Then there is another scheme. Okay, first of all, Raitu Bandhu. Similarly, they can ask you Kanya Kelavani campaign, which was launched in which particular state. So again, here, because of this campaign, because of Modi sir, female literacy rose. Reduction happened in foeticide. What is foeticide? There's a term here you may see somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, female foeticide. Remember this term, guys, because in economic survey they have talked about a concept which is known as sun meta preference. So what is sun meta preference? Sun meta preference means we have this concept that we want sun, and if you feel like we know that there is a girl child, you know, in the fetus, we will kill them. So that is female foeticide. All these things reduced because of Gandhi, means Modi ji, Gandhi ji. So again, Modi ji also auctioned personal gifts. See, 19 crore. Now that's a different matter. How he got that much amount in crores? Do PM have that much money? Okay, maybe they have. And then he contributed 21 lakh, blah, blah, blah. Now this has been expanded. So the local scheme, Kanya Kelavani, you are seeing it in a nationalized form, in the form of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Now this is important from pre as well as means. When was it launched? Which year? You know, which ministries are involved? And this is a tricky part. 3 ministries are involved. You know, women and child development, health, family welfare, HRD. So all these things are important. Initially target some gender critical districts, later on expanded, and they are doing good. This scheme is a example of one of the successful schemes of government. Why I'm saying one of the successful? Because government also launched something known as smart city mission. How many cities became smart, man? They also launched something called as bullet train initiative. How many bullet trains do we have in our country right now? So they did a lot of stuff. Not everything materialized, but Beti Bachao Beti Padhao did. And 20 states UT now exceed the national average sex ratio of 930. So yeah, so we are doing good. This is a successful, one of the successful schemes. Now they say, if you educate a girl, you educate a girl. If you educate a boy, you educate a boy rather. And if you educate a girl, you educate a whole family or a whole society. So there are multiple impacts. So if girl is educated, she will marry later. She will have fewer children. Social implications. Fewer children will die. So there are multiple impacts of girls' education, guys. Can be asked in essay and can be asked in GS mains paper too, because in GS means paper 2 explicitly education is written, right? So TFR, total fertility rate, how many kids a woman is producing during her lifetime. And we have discussed earlier also, there is something called as RLF. What is RLF, guys? What is the value of RLF? If you know it, put it in the comment section. So TFR dropped to below to 2. So if it drops below certain figure, the population will decrease, and population is decreasing. Infant mortality rate, what is the meaning of this term? How many kids are dying within 1 year per thousand live births? How many kids are dying within 1 year per thousand live births? But here, this is not only infant mortality for all, it is infant mortality for girls. So if they ask you a direct question explicitly on Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, these are the figures you will use to substantiate. If they ask you a question, what are the impacts of girls' education? These are the points you will talk about. Infant mortality rates declines when a girl is educated, she marry later, she has fewer children, and all this stuff. Multiplier effect. You can see all these things. Long term, these policies create a positive feedback. India's transformation show that educating a girl uplifts society as a whole. And this opinion article has been written by a girl, ma'am. Okay, let's solve some question. Consider the following statement about decarbonization challenges. Tricky question. Don't worry. More tricky questions you solve here, the easier questions you will witness in the examination hall. Very good. So fossil fuels still supply 80% of global energy. Political resistance and fossil fuel lobbies hinder adoption of renewables. Supply chain constraints for lithium, cobalt, and rare earth affects renewable expansion. So Harshini has given the answer. Pratik has given the answer. Gajanan has given the answer. See, all the statements are correct. Very good here. MCQ 8. Which of the following factors contribute to high infant mortality rate in India? So Pratik, Gajanan, Hannah, Harshini, Pratik, Gajanan, Hannah, Mamta, Anandu, all of you have given the answer. What leads to high infant mortality rate? Low birth weight and premature birth, poor maternal education. Use the option, guys. Use option elimination. Malnutrition and infections in infancy, and high literacy among mothers. So we know if high literacy is there, they will produce fewer children and fewer deaths happen. That has been a survey, that has been a trend which has been seen. So 4 is wrong, right? Just eliminate 4, guys. Even if you don't know all these things, you will get the answer. So as stated by Harshini, then Pratik, then Hannah, then Rishi, then Gajanan, then Annie, then Mamta, then Anandu. Very good. Who's a good boy? You people are good boys and good girls. Again, a science article. Oh my god, this science article is reducing my age by 5 seconds. So much study you have to do, man. And it's so technical, yeah. So technical. And it's very easy to take polity articles, IR articles. It's very tough to take these science articles. So for teaching you this, let me first of all show you something. And let me try to explain this thing as easily as possible. So sun has a specific area of influence. Sun. And sun, we underrate sun. Sun is like a father to us. What I'm trying to tell you here is the sun, they release certain amount of energy. Sun, they emit a stream of charged particles called solar winds. These solar winds are very important for our survival. These solar winds which sun is emitting, you know Many things about these solar winds we don't know, but they create a particular region which is known as heliosphere. Now, this particular heliosphere is protecting us from cosmic rays. Now, what are these cosmic rays? So, cosmic rays are rays which are emitted by, you know, interstellar bodies. There are different other planets, there are other stars, there are other universe. So they are emitting some high energy particles, some protons, some neutrinos, and these cosmic rays, if they reach Earth, they will impact us in so many ways. But what happens because of these solar winds, and these solar winds, they have created a boundary zone like this. This is the boundary zone. Heliopause is the region where heliosphere ends. This boundary zone ends, and we reach into interstellar space. This region which you are seeing is interstellar space. Interstellar space means if you go there, cosmic rays will hit you, they will kill you, they will make you like a tomato sauce. And Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, they are, Voyager 1 has already reached interstellar space. Voyager 1 is what? In 1970s, a mission was launched to, means, study the far off planets, maybe Uranus, etc. And now they have crossed this heliosphere region, and they have gone to interstellar space, and they're still working, guys. This particular Voyager 1 is still working. It is still sending us data about the cosmic rays which are there in this interstellar space. It is no longer protected by the sun's solar winds and the heliosphere. So maybe some days down the line, it can be destroyed by these cosmic rays because they are very, very bad for us as a whole. So please understand these concepts. They are very, very tricky concepts. So now let's come back to this article. So what is happening here? NASA's IMAP will show how solar particles are energized. What we have just discussed, that these solar winds, they have created a boundary line for us, which is known as heliosphere, and heliopause is the boundary where, this heliosphere ends and the interstellar space starts. But this is not uniform, guys. This heliosphere is not uniform, non-uniform. It keeps on changing based on how much solar wind sun is emitting and all those factors. It keeps on changing, and we have to study it because these cosmic rays, they will impact our health as a whole. They will impact our communication system. So we want to study. We want to know more about our heliosphere. So this is the point which you have to keep in mind. Space is not empty. Sun emits solar wind, and we are very thankful to sun for that, because via this they are creating heliosphere, which is protecting us from other planets, other stars, and all these stuff, cosmic rays. So heliosphere structure, dynamics, and boundaries are still not well understood. And to understand this, NASA has launched this IMAP, Interstellar Mapping and Exploration Probe. They can ask you this: who launched this? NASA has launched this. What they want to do? They want to understand how solar wind works, how heliosphere is created, and all these things. Because if more and more cosmic rays comes, bypassing this heliosphere and all, it can damage satellite, harm astronauts, disrupt communication, and we are very, very concerned about that. So that's why I keep on telling you that don't take yourself too seriously. We don't know more than 90% of the things in this universe. Anything can kill us anytime. So optimistic. So data will improve understanding of how heliosphere protects the solar system from cosmic radiation, implications for Earth's habitability, and also about these things will also tell us whether other planets can exist in other regions or not, based on whether their star has heliosphere or not. So if you're understanding, even if you're not understanding, 30, 40, 50%, even if you're understanding, that will do. You don't have to do PhD in science and tech. And this is what I keep on telling people also. There are many people, why is this space blank? There are many people who are like, I don't like ancient history. There's a student of mine, she has cleared APSC, Assam Public Service Commission. And when I used to teach her, she was like, I don't want to read ancient history. I don't like it. UPSC is not asking about your preference, guys. You have to be average in all subjects. You don't have to do PhD. Be average in science and tech, quality, etc. It's not about what you prefer, what you not prefer. Let's solve this MCQ 9. In fan mode, based on the previous article, right? So Gajanan, Harshini, they have given the answer. Rishi, Hannah, I don't like this. You have to read all subjects, all subjects. So number of deaths of infants under 1 year of age per 1,000 live births. I also don't like science and tech articles. But if I want to become the best, Hindu analysis guy, I have to take them. If I don't do that sooner rather than you will later, you will understand that sir is skipping, or he's not taking certain articles. I have to take them, and that's why I take the tougher articles at the first. But today all articles are tougher only. So interstellar mapping and exploration probe, IMAP of NASA aims to do what? Oh, 8B, 8, 9, right? 9, 9, Pratik. Interstellar mapping and acceleration probe. Map the heliosphere boundary, study the acceleration and propagation of energetic particles, land on an asteroid to collect samples. So Pratik has given the answer, Hannah has given the answer, Harshini has given. Have we talked about whether it will land on an asteroid or not? That is not the point, guys. So yeah, third eliminated. You will get the answer A, 1 and 2 only. So Pratik, Hannah, Harshini, Anandu, Rishi, Gajanan, all of you have answered it. Very good. Page number 15, ADB, Asian Development Bank. Now, why I have taken this article, there are so many other articles also which are important. I will show you 3 articles I will show you apart from the 5 which we will do today. So why? Because there is a reason. There are certain things which we have already done, but this we have not done. Whenever you're reading ADB, you have to read ADB with AIIB, and NDB. This is a parallel study, guy. Like when you read PM, you read CM, right? When you read Parliament, you read state legislature. Similarly, Asian Development Bank, headquarter Manila, Philippines. And generally, these forecasts, etc., is fine. But hope you're understanding what is important from exam perspective. Manila, Philippines, Asia Pacific region, they are mainly operative, but Japan and US, they are calling the shot. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, their headquarters is in Beijing. I will show you the comparative analysis chart. Headed by China. China is leading it. NDB is BRICS Bank. Already a PYQ has been asked on it. New Development Bank, BRICS Bank. And all countries, the BRICS countries initially, the 5 countries, they had equal share. So New Development Bank. Headquarters is in Shanghai. So do remember these facts. These facts are very important. Rest all facts and figures, they will keep on coming, keep on going. So growth forecast. They have cut the growth forecast. That is but obvious because of all the tariff thing which has happened. And that's what they are talking about. Cool. Not cool, but we can understand where ADB is going with this. What is important? This is important. ADB, AIIB, NDB. Year is fine for other exams. Headquarters, etc. Keep it in mind. ADB, Manila, AIIB, Beijing. Now there's a name cheat code. People generally get confused between AIIB and NDB and their headquarter. Both are in China. How do you remember it? So A. You people may have read English alphabet A B C D. So after A comes B. So AIIB headquarter is in A B. NDB Shanghai. Generally, what happens is people get confused between Beijing and Shanghai. NDB headquarter is in Beijing or Shanghai. Just remember AIIB is in Beijing, so NDB is in Shanghai. That's how. Again, whatever floats your boat, whatever way you can remember it. New Development Bank, BRICS Bank. And you can have a look at all these facts and figures where they are active, poverty reduction, infrastructure development, blah, blah, blah. Let's solve a PYQ. This was asked by UPSC in 2016. New Development Bank has been set up by APEC. Headquarter of New Development Bank is in Shanghai. Shanghai. So Harshini has given the answer. Anandu has given the answer. We know New Development Bank has not been set up by APEC. We will talk about this Asia Pacific Economic Organization later on. This has been set up by BRICS. Headquarter is in Shanghai. So the answer is B2 only, as stated by Harshini, Anandu, Pratik, Hannah, Mamta, Gajanan. Gajanan has also tried it. Cool. Now, before we talk about the other question, let me show you some 3 other articles which are important from exam perspective. So hope you can see it. So this is one article, guys, which is important. See this, IPS officer appointed as heads of CISF and ITBP. I don't know, but we have discussed this thing in previous Hindu analysis. What we have discussed in previous Hindu analysis, that there is a tussle which is going on between paramilitary forces and IPS officer. So we have talked about paramilitary forces, and they are very angry. Why our officials are not, going at the highest level? Why we are recruiting from IPS, and why IPS officer is appointed as head of CISF and ITBP, Central Industrial Security Force and Indo-Tibetan Border Police? Because the exam is different for CISF and ITBP. The exam is different from IPS officer. So there is a tussle. I don't know how many of you have followed me in that Hindu analysis. You can, I think I've even made a separate video on it. So this tussle, we can talk about it in detail later on, but I have already discussed it. So this is one point of view. Again, CISF people, ITBP people, many of them will not be happy with this whole thing, that their IPS officer has been appointed head. Then the second thing is this one, farmer society. So in GS3, you have farmer related, MSP and all, farmer societies. So there are different facts and figures which keeps on coming. So you can have a tag, means report. You should note it down so that you can cite it down. Like in our time, there was a time, So in our time, there was a period when we used to say that in the last 10, 20 years, 2 lakh farmers committed suicide. These numbers will tell you about the agrarian distress. Maharashtra faced this because in Maharashtra, you have Marathwada region, drought prone region. And in that Marathwada region, they grow, means water intensive crop like sugarcane, because it is FRP is provided on sugarcane. So there are multiple reasons which are leading these suicides. We'll talk about it in detail right means later on. I'm just giving you a brief overview. So this article is also important, GS Mains 3 perspective. And then this one, over 1.73 lakh killed in road accidents in 2023, NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau. Here there is a declaration which is important, Brasilia Declaration, which you have to read. This is a homework for you. Brasilia Declaration, which talks about curbing this road accident numbers. So in India, we are one of the top countries when it comes to road accidents. How we can reduce it, potholes and blah blah blah. So again, infrastructure, GS3. From that perspective, also this article is important. So do have a look at these articles. We will cover it. You people know, if an article is very important, it will come again and again, right? That's what we have seen. So don't worry. Uh, today I'm giving you, I guess, only one question as homework, because again, there was so much research I had to do for these articles. Whenever science and tech articles are very important, my work increases. So yes, MCQ 12, this is a homework. Try it. And if you know it, post it in the comment section. We'll discuss it tomorrow. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. You can post your score, how much you scored, and you can join this UPSC Success Program. I have removed the slide for the mentorship because I have stopped it for the time being. So you can buy these courses separately. Hindu Analysis PDF 199 per month, means answer evaluation. Do write your answer. If you have somebody to evaluate, awesome. Otherwise, you can send it to me. 199. There's no time limit here. Till the time I crack, like till the time you want to write. Many people are telling me make it 190, 1999 per year, but it's 199 right now. So before okay, doubt sessions if you have, 499 per hour. History through NCRT, if you feel like you are lacking conceptual clarity in history, this series will help you. If you already have conceptual clarity, you don't have condensed mains material, you can also take this. Cool, sir. So, and again, oh my god. So students who are part of mentorship, there is one query which I have got a lot, and that's why I've included this slide, which will always remain with you. They're like, there is one student which I keep on talking about. She's from Miranda House, and she's like, I'm 24 years old. All of my friends are employed. Guys, all of you are, you know you have your own trajectory, guys. You can have a look at this whole thing. Everybody, you have your own trajectory. Trump started at 70, Obama retired at 55. So our competition is only with ourselves, and I'm not lying here. You don't know when you will die. Maybe you will achieve a lot, but you will die young. Maybe you will achieve later in life. So everybody has their own trajectory, guys. Just give your best. Don't keep on comparing yourself. I can cry that I am so good and this and that, and I have only these subscribers. If I work hard for 1 year, 2 years, and if I remain disciplined, sky is the limit. So there's no competition, guys. You are your own competition. Keep giving your best. Don't compare yourself with others. So that is one thing which you have to keep in mind. Cool. You can also donate, guys, and I'm going now. As I followed, it was around July. Oh, yes. Pratik is also part of mentorship program. So I will tell you why I have discontinued mentorship program for the time being. See, I have to run my family also, right? Everything cannot run free, right? But mentorship is a loss scenario for me. 4999, and there is no time limit for mentorship. Plus, students come with their own set of time, things. So I have to deal with them also. I have to be honest with them, right? If I take 1,000 students and I'm not dealing with them, or 100 students I'm not dealing with them, doesn't make any sense. So maybe 2-3 days in a month I will open that program mentorship, and whoever wants to enroll, they will enroll, and then I will close it. You can, if it is more profitable for me, guys, if you're taking these courses individually, you can understand the maths is not in favor of this mentorship. Plus the work is so much there. So yes, maybe 2-3 days in a month I will open it. Rest time I will close it. Who will be a part of it? They will be a part of it, and that's why. So it's not a rocket science. You can understand these things. Cool. So yes, sir. And that's it. So I'm going, guys. I will see you people tomorrow at 8 a.m. So take care, be blessed. Bye bye.